just want to say, like, that was just a complete experience, right? It was just so cool, just kind of going in, playing something fresh. Everybody kind of like set aside everything. People's asking their wives, "Hey, can I play a game for 20 hours?" It's just like, and me, I'm just like, I'm making, I don't have wife, kids, or anything like that. But I'm just like, I still have like stuff to do, so I'm just like. Right. Calling up people, it's like, hey, I gotta lock in for the next like 2 days. You good with taking care of this? Yeah, I'll take care of it. All right, cool. Well, like just give you the time. So it was, man, it's a fun experience. It's a very fun experience.
It was. Alpha 3 was, I guess it was more fun than Alpha 2. I started Alpha 2, right, and that was just my first experience with anything, because very specifically, I didn't look at any content about the game until right before the Alpha 2 when I got let in. I was like, all right, now I'll look up stuff. But Gotcha. That Alpha 2 for me was like a learning and educational experience. And then Alpha 3, like you said, I was kind of locked in, but I didn't intend to really compete. I just wanted to like go at it. And my personal goal was just to say that I beat Hell Hades at his own game. So I just wanted to get higher than him on the race. And I did, but Chosen still beat me. So.
Yeah, well, I mean, it's Chosen. He just was he had him and Neil, and he was just like, yeah, I got this. Yeah. I mean, if you beat Hell Hades at it, then you get to hit Simon with one of his lines. That just makes it all the better. Yeah.
At some point, you start to conspiracy theorize with everything he's got going on. Like, has he got somebody helping him there? Is Lady H doing floor 82? Like,
yeah. Okay, I'll let the cat out the bag. It was Rachel that did at least 120 of the floors. He was the trade-off was he had to take care of the rest of the family. Like. Yeah. That's kind of cool though. Like you mentioned about kind of pushing it. So you made it all the way to 151, right?
Oh yeah. Mm-hmm.
Gotcha. So like, how much did you like work with anybody? Like, how much did you really learn from other people versus how much you just got in and did yourself?
Well, with the race, I didn't really work with anybody. Especially because like I chose Ramses when I got started, so I wasn't like on Team Guan Yu Go Hard. But I thought to myself, like, Ramses helps you get through Golden Guardian way more than any of them. So like that's who I want to start with. And I felt pretty quickly like I nerfed myself. But by the time he's 3 or 4 star, I don't want to start over once I've pulled a Guan Yu. Mm-hmm. So I just let the race be what it was, and those first 2 days. That's when Sage was still in alpha chat, and I was trying to figure out what was going on because like Pawn Cakes wasn't in there, and Ragewood wasn't in there, and I remember jumping on one of your streams, and I was like, "Hey, can you get Pawn Cakes to give me the password?"
I was like, I can't give you the password. I can't give you the keys to the kingdom, man. I'm so sorry. Ask the leader.
I'm sitting over there with Sage, just like, man, it sure is kind of empty in here. It's like me and Sage and Shadow for like 24, 48 hours. And we just kept joking with Sage about the plan and about how he was putting everything into Shinigami and Guan Yu, and like, but I will say, by the time I got to the damage race, that's when we had started to get a group of people that was paying attention. And it wasn't until the last 24 hours that the ELT group like actually had something figured out, right? Like when we figured out solo Brynhild, and we were working towards it, we all kind of gave up at 130 million, and I went to bed, and then I woke up, and that's when the Lady Zoc thing got outed. And then it was like me and Black and Barry and Draco. We're all sitting there for like the last 2 hours going, wait, what if you do this? 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 So that was when I finally had like a group of people that were also working together just to try to get one of those top spots. And then they got like the top 7, and I couldn't get my run to work. And I even had like Sham and Simon jump in and watch me fail my run for like 20 minutes. And I just... That was embarrassing.
I know, it's sad. Yeah, when we had the Lady Jacques thing come out, it was like it was a little bit of a sting, for us because of course we had the top spots locked down, and we were about to just lay it in there, and it's like one of those things where did it come from? Well, it came from the 51 chat. We were just looking through the 51 chat to see if we found anything, and then we found it there, and then we just made it work. So it was already out there. It was already bug reported, but we just figured out a way to make it work. That's that's it.
Oh, see, I thought y'all had. So the thing with Lady Zoc was like in wave 2, if you remember, that final comp that we were playing with to get the absolutely ridiculous scores was putting that imprint on Heimdall and getting the stacking retaliates. And so I went into Alpha 3 just assuming it was nerfed and there was no reason to use it. And so it was like knowledge that existed that I just discarded. And
But it
I
still
thought
worked.
maybe y'all didn't discard it, but it sounds like maybe you were in the same headspace.
Yeah, I mean, again, it was like, well, the headspace was like we already knew what was going to be nerfed, which was like all the heavy stuff that we figured out, early on, just kind of together, just different people just going in and testing something different. And then we were like, okay, well, what's the next best thing? And then after that, what's the next best thing after that? And then we just landed upon the Lady Jacques imprint, because we saw it that was in there. And so again, it's just using all the information that's around, just chatting with other people and then just beating our heads against the wall, just trying to figure out, let's test this, let's test that, this particular thing. And then we just kind of like put, different teams around it. Brynhild was like within the conversation, but we did not know about the other interaction with Brynhild. You know what I mean? Like we had no clue about that whatsoever the entire time. So like we had ran Brynhild, but it didn't work for us around the first time, at least not at the way that it scaled, I think, for many of you all. So then it was like, once y'all pieced those two together, it's like y'all had the keys to the kingdom and then we didn't have anything at all.
For 3 hours.
Mm-hmm.
And if it had gone any longer than that, like if they'd have figured it out at 9 p.m., somebody else would have known about it.
I mean, if we had a longer time, we would have eventually figured it out probably after like a couple more hours, because I think eventually we did kind of sort of get it to work. But that was after the fact, like, because we just didn't know. So it was just like, so yeah, I mean, it was, it is what it is. I know that it was told in the spirit of competition to try to make the playing field pretty fair overall. And I mean, either way, it's the nature of an alpha. So it was either way. I think that the whole side of it was pretty fun, but it was, it is a little challenging to keep all the spirits up when you know that there's a competition behind it, man. It's rough. It's very rough. It's very rough.
So for everybody out there that's joined to listen today, I'm joined by Papa Tez. Papa Tez, a longer time streamer and content creator than I think any of my guests so far. So very happy to have you along. Very thankful that you would join today. And as you might have heard us talking about, one of the evil Hivemind has joined us today, where, I'm one of the evil ELT from the other side of the aisle. So here we are joining hands.
Exactly, holding hands on the rainbow.
Yeah. No, it was funny, man. I remember being in Alpha Chat. I think it was before... It might have been before Sage jumped ship on me and Shadow and Draco, but y'all like flooded the channel with Chloe, and Chloe's doing sound effects and all the remix of Simon. Hey guys, hey guys. And, like,
hey guys, this is Hell Hades.
Yeah. It's like 13 people join already in the middle of a party. It's like, what's up in here? Like, oh, where have you been for the last 48 hours?
Yeah. I mean, I don't know. Like, it was just one of those things where, especially like later on, that's kind of where we formed, is we just all kind of like figured out that we all were like-minded and stuff like that. And then we just started creating something. And then we started like actually figuring stuff out and then just piecing together all these plans. And it's like, do we want to go further, or do we want to just work with what we have? And we just like, okay, let's just work with what we have, you know, and then let's go from there. But I still do remember you hopping in the stream and it's like, hey man, so where you guys at? Like, I know you guys been talking. I'm like, you know, talk to the man in charge. I would like, we all have equal decision making, but I just was like, Pawn, you handle this.
Yeah, I can't remember. I don't think it dawned on me that the group was like 7 or 8 people because there was 7 or 8 tickets to Vegas. Like that didn't hit me till I think 5 days in or something like that. I just thought it was like, oh, you know, they've all been hanging out for like 2 alphas now, and they're trying to keep some of the secrets from getting out. Totally appreciate that.
Well, that was kind of like the thought process behind it is, you know, we wanted to, it wasn't really about the tickets to Vegas whatsoever. We just wanted to get as many people to Vegas as possible, right? Yeah. Because we'll probably figure that out anyway. So we'll see how that goes. But it was more or less like, okay, let's get a small group together, you know, of people who were a little bit invested. And we just happened all to be invested at the same time, with the same type of mindset, and then we had like the same type of conversation. And so it was like whoever it was within that first little bit, that was it. And then we just stuck with that. You know what I mean? Like it was just like that's it. We'll just leave it at that. We don't want to do anymore. No pressure on anybody, you know, whatever. So that's kind of like how it ended up, you know. That's kind of like how it ended up. So
yeah. Now, did you set out from the beginning to win the Stars competition? Like, was that in the back of your mind what you were going for?
It was a fallback for me. Okay. I'll put it this way. What really put me on to at least pushing for the Stars was actually Sage.
Oh, okay.
Actually Sage and actually Fusion, because both of them worked incredibly hard on the Stars to get them done.
Yeah.
So for me, taking the knowledge that I got from both of them, you know, my first whole thing was like, let me do the 151 because I think that'll be the easiest for me to do. Because if RNG favors upon me, then I'm okay. Well, RNG favored upon me with getting the quits for 120, but then I never got the Zeus until like 140. Like once I hit like 140, 142, that's when I finally got the Zeus. Yeah. And the other 2 are already done. So I'm just like, okay, well, I'm just going to at least make sure I finish the 151 and then I work on the Stars. So my whole philosophy is kind of very similar to Sage's, where as I was working on everything, I was pushing all the Stars at the beginning. Everything that I could do, I basically tried to do until once we got past like the 120-ish mark. Once I got past about 110, I kind of dropped off of that a little bit because I wanted to push and get, you know, the other thing done. And then once that was done, I'm like, well, I might as well start for the Stars Challenge because there's no way I'm going to do the DPS one. Like, that's just not going to happen in my mind. It's just not going to happen. And since I had Zeus, it was like, okay, I'm just knocking out as many stars. So it was like I went from not even being on the sheet to then I was 10th. And then I was 5th, you know. Like I went up in there. So it was just, I got the Zeus. I was farming gear and everything. So it kind of helped out to where since I had already started doing the farming, I kind of stuck to a plan that I was able to actually get the Stars done.
How did you get 300? Because I thought Simon came out and said like 298 was the cap. It wasn't actually possible to get the last 2.
So I actually did the 298. So what happened was once I got to 295, I was essentially stuck. So 142, for me, it was 142, 148, 950, and then one other one that was either in the 120s or a lower one, something like that. So then I knocked out that one, and I basically had those 4 left. So I found out that 149 was RNG. So I beat 149 a bunch of times. So that night, so 149 was one of the ones that was kind of like called off, basically as a stage. But you could beat it. It just was RNG. So I spent about 2 hours until finally it cleared. It was literally just straight RNG. Just rinse and repeat, doing the exact same thing, killing everything with Zeus, and hoping that, you know, the people don't die, and just, you know, not placing any defense down or buffs or whatever. It was just RNG, right? And for the 148, I guess it was, that one was like my last star. So I was out and about, and I was like actually like saying something on a public platform on the stage. And as I was stepping down off of the stage, I got the phone call.
Yeah, I remember you talking about this.
Yeah, it's from Paul. Paul is just like, get home right now. If you get home right now, you're going to Vegas. So what the guys actually did while I was away, that's why I say it wasn't me. It was the work that they all put in, right? Because they had a drive to get all the stars. Sage had a drive to get all the stars, and then Fusion and Lyco and the other guys, they all just wanted to get as much as possible. They wanted to make sure we secured that last spot. And so once I got home, what they had did was, Sage was just like, man, what if it's a different faction? And then it was just like
it was coded wrong. It's just a troll.
The text was wrong, bro. The text was wrong.
That's so funny.
So what they did is they just started doing a singular faction and clearing it.
Just one faction at a time.
Yes, and I think it was Sage that did the Asgards, and it cleared it.
Oh my gosh, dude!
And so when I got home, they basically told me load up the Asgards. I already had like 2 or 3 already done, and I had Odin. So I'm just like,
yeah,
bro, this is about to be easy clear, just as long as I, you know, clear out everything. So I just switched all my gear around, and we cleared it. I saw that star come up, and I was just like, let's go. Like, we were just all super excited because it was a Hivemind moment, right? Like, we all came together to figure out something to clear the star. Because otherwise, I would have had to depend on RNG at 150. And I'm like, dude, I'm not doing that. I'd rather, instead of spending 30 minutes, I'd rather spend 5 minutes and knock my head up against something. So, yeah, we were able to figure that out, which was you know, a little hint, and then we were able to just figure it out. So it was nice.
What was the other one that I know it didn't work in Alpha 2, and I think it didn't work in Alpha 3, at least for me, where it was like it was use 10 ultimates or use no ultimates. It was like one of the two, and you could do it and it just wouldn't register.
But somehow I think we were able to get that one to register. But it was because 142 was the one we were just talking about. So it had to have been like 145 or 146 or something like that. But it was like use the 10 ultimates. I remember that one. 148 or whatever was the 2 rares, I believe.
Yeah. Did you use the same setup as Sage? Did you use Guan Yu Shinigami?
I didn't even get that star.
I thought you got 300. Oh.
Nope. I got the 298. So I was the second person. So Sage got 298 first. Or wait a minute, did I get it first? Something like that.
At least one of y'all got all 300. But
Sage got all 300. Yeah, Sage got all 300 not too long afterwards. So I kind of let him have that. So yeah, Sage got the 298 first, and then I got it after him. But it was like,
is the website even still up?
It should be. So I think you should see like multiple people at 297.
Let's see, challenge level.
Well, I think somebody else cleared 300 also too. But I think at the time it was like 2 or 3 people that were 297.
Oh, I see. It was your name's not at the top anymore because other people got 300, but the race ended up being first to 298.
The race ended up being first to 298. So Sage was first at 298, and then I came right after him, and I was like 296, you know, and there was like 2 or 3 people I think that were like 295. It was like 5 or 6 people that were like 295 to 297. They just couldn't get that last one because it was a bunch of stages where we couldn't figure it out, or slash RNG. So yeah, like I said, it was just them putting in the hard work, and you know, I reaped the benefits. I guess you could say. Well, I mean, I put in the work to get the stars, right? So like I did put in the work to get the stars.
I mean,
but
you grinded
that last star
2 hours on that one, so I mean
I grinded the 2 hours on the one because what they told me to do is just focus on getting another star, and then we'll work on these other ones. So I got the 1 star, and then I'll tell you what actually happened. Right, I went to bed, 296. I'm like halfway giving up. I'm just like, dude, I'm so tired and exhausted because I've spent like 30 hours on this game with like maybe 2 hours of sleep. So I wake up in like the middle of the night and I get like my other star, the 296.
like half asleep, just like
half
you
asleep,
can't stay
and
asleep.
I think basically. So then like I'm trying like the Zeus, and then I just eventually get up and I see the guys are still in there. So I'm just listening to them as they're doing stuff, and I just grind out and get that next star. And then I'm trying like, you know, up until I had to leave out the house to get the other star. And I'm just like, at this point, I'm like, you know what? I gave it a good try. You know, I was working on the boss, can't really get it to work, whatever the case may be. And then as I was leaving, they were talking about like just dividing it up, or like basically right as I left, within like 10 minutes, that's when they started just dividing and conquering and trying to get that one stage down. Cause he's like, look, we're going to try to get all the stars anyway to say that we did it. Let's figure out what it is that's on this stage. We already know that some of the stages are worded wrong.
Yeah.
It's more worded wrong than coded wrong. You know what I mean? Like, or coded wrong and then worded right. Like, whatever the case may be. And yeah, like I said, I was out and about. They gave me a phone call. They told me to get home immediately, and we did it.
I plan to see you in Vegas. I've heard twice from Simon now that randos will be invited. So I plan to come down there, and I plan to have a reception. So anybody that does come to Vegas, I'm going to try to have a reception at my favorite bar down there.
Really?
So, yeah, we'll get that set up when we know more details.
Yeah, then I will definitely be there then. That'll be absolutely great.
Yeah, it should be fun.
Absolutely great. Yeah.
Well, tell me about
have
I been? Yeah, no, I've been to Vegas. That's why I say it's one of my favorite bars for anybody that's out there that's ever going to go to Vegas is the Golden Tiki. The Golden Tiki is like a premier tiki bar. It's supposedly haunted because one night an ashtray flew off a table and nobody knows why.
Oh my goodness.
Carrot Top hangs out there. It's a big Carrot Top bar, and they do inductions of famous people as shrunken heads. So it's a crazy place. It's off strip, right? You got to get a Uber, but I love that bar so much. So much fun.
It sounds like a lot of fun, so let's do it.
So tell me about your content creator journey, because you know I'm new to Papa Tez. I discovered you because of the Godforge stuff, and I jumped into some Twitch streams, and so immediately in my mind I was like, okay, he's a Twitch streamer. But then I pulled up your YouTube page and I was like, oh, this goes way back. So you've been doing this for a while. So how did you get into it? How did you decide you wanted your face to be on the internet?
Wasn't my face to begin with. We'll just put that out there. So in all honesty, so it was once Twitch started kind of becoming a thing back in like 2011, 2012ish or something around there. I don't even remember the exact date, but I was kind of following people that played Destiny at the time.
Okay.
So then Destiny was kind of like my beginning into Twitch streaming, but I thought that learning like chatbot commands and stuff was kind of cool. So early on, I was like learning how to play with Nightbot. I was learning how to play with Moobot and stuff early on. So I kept asking people like for the basic commands and how to input that stuff in. So then I figured out, well, I needed my own channel so that I could like test this stuff and start making like all these commands. So I just started making like baseline commands for, you know, doing a shout out, a baseline command for like doing a hug, you know, like just little small stuff like that.
Gotcha.
And eventually I just started streaming. I was like, you know what, this is kind of fun. You know, I'm mostly at the house anyway. You know, it seems like people are having fun. So, you know, I guess probably one of my best ways to actually learn. So that's weird, you know, right? Like my angle, I feel like is different from a lot of people's angle because they just stream, you know, to it's fun, you know, a different thing to do. Some people use it as an escape, whatever. I actually kind of used it to learn to mod at the time because I just wanted to learn, you know, like how to use all these moderating tools and things like that. And I was just like, okay, well, you know, that seems like something kind of cool to do. So why don't I learn it? But my best way to learn it is not only being in like these people's chats and stuff, but then maybe learn how to stream, you know, just so that I understand like the whole realm of stuff, understand what people are going through and things like that. And yeah, that's kind of how it started. It's kind of weird.
Was your like early stream then one of the more advanced chats where people just throwing commands left and right doing weird stuff?
In a sense, yeah. You know, but it was more like basics, right? And the cool thing that kind of like stemmed off of that is other people, since I was connecting with like a bunch of other streamers and stuff at the time, other people who didn't have commands and stuff, they'd ask me to kind of like set up their stuff for them. Yeah. So that was like a kind of cool thing where I just go in and set up people's like basic commands, you know, set them up with the shout out, set them up with, oh, this is how you do like a banner that just pops up every 10 minutes or something like that. Like just little small basic stuff. It wasn't really super in depth because once we started getting to like the random stuff where people had the actual coding and syntax, that's where I draw the line. Oh yeah. It's just like, nah, man, I can do some basic stuff like learn the basic variables and stuff, and then, you know, that's it. But not the super complicated stuff.
That stuff is getting wild. Like I was watching so like I watch a lot of Quinn69. He's got a bunch of crazy stuff happening in his chat, and like nice. You know, they've got the AI voice readouts, you know, you cheer bits or whatever and then it reads out whatever you say. But he put up a video the other day on YouTube of like his chat being given access to Sora 2 and just making these ridiculous videos of him having terrible things happen. And like now I'm seeing this future where you've got Sora or ChatGPT or whatever like incorporated into chat, and you're like tipping or cheering or whatever to make weird stuff happen on screen or like hijack the stream or something. Like it just keeps snowballing, all the stuff that it's capable of.
Yeah, and to me, like a lot of that stuff is cool. Of course, like now I've pulled back a lot from then, because back then I kind of had the time, right? Versus now where it's just like, yeah, I don't really have as nowhere near as much time now to do a lot of this stuff. But it's still just interesting to kind of see a lot of those chat interactions, the integrations that are now within Twitch to make it so much better. You know, people going out and creating different tools for their OBS, for Streamlabs or whatever that they're using. I think what Meld is now on the scene. Like you just have all these like different platforms and then different interactions and people just going in and creating like all the stuff that you see out there. I think it's I'm trying to think of like the site where you get like a bunch of the OBS stuff from. What is it again? Is it GitHub?
I mean, GitHub is a big one. You know,
I think there's another one out there too, right?
Crowdsourced development world. I'm not a Twitch streamer, so I've never actually dug into this.
Really? Have you done like streaming on YouTube at all, or?
No. I'm new to the whole thing as of Alpha 3, whatever date that was, right?
Wow.
I uploaded my first video because Susie wanted me to. It was like I was trying to report a bug that I couldn't describe, and they were like, "Can you upload a video?" And I was like, "How do I do it?" And Sneaky helped me like download OBS and all that. So, and then I was like, "Wait, it's this easy to like create and upload a YouTube video?" Oh, okay.
Now, of course, like, you know, when you're doing the interactions and stuff, that's a little bit different, but still, like, it's fairly simple. Like, if you have a little bit of, I don't know how to put it without being offensive, you know, like if you have a little bit of, you know, a little bit of creativity, a little bit of ingenuity, and a little bit of drive, you're pretty much able to do it. You know, like it's not too hard.
I would say, I don't know, maybe this is probably a really deep rabbit hole that you could have a lot of really cool conversations with people about, but I would put streaming as much more difficult than creating YouTube content. And I think from the labor standpoint, people might say, no, I mean, if you're streaming, you just turn the camera on and you do what you do, right? But like, and with YouTube, how complicated do you want your video to be? Like, do you have 15, stack on your video inside a DaVinci or Adobe or whatever? Like, you're starting to get complicated. But where I say the streaming is harder, I think the best example, like case study of this that I could give is, who's that comedian that was really popular in like the late 90s, early 2000s, like Dave
Chappelle?
What was his name? Oh, no, not Dave Chappelle. I mean, he's still like top of the game.
True.
God, I wish I could remember this dude's name right now. He was kind of like I don't want to call him a one-hit wonder. It's going to take me too long to look it up. Anyway, whoever that guy was, he was like a big-time comedian. And he kind of disappeared, right? And I never heard from him again. But at the time, he was like, everybody loved him. He pops up on Twitch. Not David Tell. Not Dave Foley. It might not be David now that I'm... but he pops up on Twitch, right? He has a Twitch channel all of a sudden. And I was like, well, this has got to be good, right? And this was like back during COVID. So this is like 2020. And so I pull up his Twitch channel and it's like him playing Call of Duty or something like that, right? He doesn't say a word for like 20 minutes. It's just a camera pointed at him in his couch playing Call of Duty. And it's like, dude, that's not why streaming is good, right? Like, you're not there to just sit down and have other people watch you play a game. Like, you got to be compelling, you got to be entertaining, you got to be on, right? And so I think a lot of streamers get it wrong. I think they log in and they just think like the shtick here is that I play video games and people watch me and pay me to do it. But that's not it at all. And that's one thing that caught me about you when I jumped into your stream is you were engaging, you were funny, you were having fun. People don't want to see you mad. They want to see you having fun. And so you've got it, whatever it is, right? You've got it. And that's where I say it's harder than YouTube content, because you got to do it live, and YouTube content, you could take your time to edit your mistakes out.
That's true. But I have a different thought.
Yeah, let's hear it.
So, and I guess again, it depends on the type of person, right? Like I'm typically an outgoing person. Actually, I am an extroverted introvert.
Yeah.
Where I love just being by myself, gaming and, just doing stuff, taking long walks in the park and stuff. This is not an intro to my dating, I like long walks on the beach. But I like being by myself. But also, too, I like being entertaining. I like helping people and stuff like that. And that's kind of like the avenue of streaming for me, where it was like so much easier to do the streaming side of things. So that's why for me, as a person that I feel like I do pretty good with entertaining people and stuff. I've had my ups and downs, but I feel like, I'm charismatic enough. I'm silly enough. I have kind of like my base words, and I have thoughts and ideas that I've actually brought into fruition. And a lot of that was just from watching and consuming other people. So being a content consumer first versus a content creator. And then you kind of see, oh, these are some of the things that I really like. These are the things that are interactive. Like, the little camera zoom is like one of the things that I have for the stream. But I have one button, and that one button that's on my stream deck, what it does is it zooms my camera in and it plays like the little sexy sax music. And then I just say something stupid to everybody. And it's just like people just gobble it up. They just absolutely love it. And then I started like making these combinations where if you do like 3 or 4 redeems in a row, I will on the spot just make something happen out of it. So now like one of the famous ones is like the camera zoom in, the sexy sax music, and then me saying ay ay ay. So like I ended up singing ay 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 for like the whole thing, and it's just like, dude, this is just so wacky. You know what I mean? But that's stuff like I enjoy. But then versus like the YouTube side of it, where to me I'm just like, man, it feels so difficult to me to do that, where it's a lot easier now because I've gotten over the initial hump of everything from actually doing some. Now, do I have a whole lot of content out there on YouTube? I got like 30 or so videos, but I've never been consistent with really either one of them. Like I was really consistent with the streaming for about a 2-year stint or so, but I just stream as I can.
You think you've slowed down now?
Oh, I've definitely slowed down a ton, but that's just, that's just life. Like at first I was trying to make it like a mini career. Now I just do it way more for just fun. Like I still want, there's still something that I want out of it, right? Like I want to be able to get to a certain point where, I'm able to review products and stuff like that, whether it's video games or whether it's actual products that, electronics and stuff. I still want to get to that point. So I'm going to make a try for it this year. But for me, the streaming side is way easier and the more lazy route, right? Because I am the content basically. Yeah. And so I could just do that. Whereas the YouTube videos to me is a little bit tougher because number one, you have to get a program for it. Number two, you got to hope that the program has everything that you need in it. Then number three, you got to create thumbnails. Oh my goodness. Now I got to learn this whole thing about thumbnails and how to create it and how to make them attractive. Yeah. It sucks. You know what I mean? But now it's like, once you do all that stuff for a while, you connect all that stuff together and it's like, okay, I can do this. But to your credit, for many people, the streaming side is way harder. But for me, it's not. The YouTube side is harder. But that's just because of me and my type of personality. So to me, I think it just depends on the person. For some people, streaming is way easier, but for other people, the YouTube stuff is a lot harder. YouTube, TikTok, Instagram, all that stuff.
Yeah, obviously the amount of time that goes into YouTube is greater than the amount of time that goes into Twitch. But that being said, I was looking at one of those videos recently where like Charlie, Moist Critical, was saying how much he made since like 2017. And he was showing his graphs of the time frames and how much he made. And I want to say it was like 2019 to 2021 was like $1 million a year or something like that, or $1 million a year. But it said 3,600 hours a year. And I was like, you streamed 3,600 hours? And I started doing the math and I'm like, that's greater than 8 hours a day every single day of the year. Like, how do you do that? And so I think too, maybe a lot of people out there underestimate the amount of time that a streamer has to put in to accomplish some of what they do. And you see people, sleeping on stream and doing 24-hour subathons and 48-hour subathons and falling asleep at the keyboard. Like, I can't comment on whether that's healthy or not because, if they're doing it once in a blue moon, but people stream a lot to be successful for sure.
Well, you have more than one avenue when it comes to streaming, right? So for a lot of people, like, even I would put myself in that category, it's more of a casual thing, right? But if I stream consistently, I probably pull in 30, 40 people, at max. But a lot of people struggle to even get to that 5 to 10 mark.
Yeah.
Because maybe they lack engagement or maybe just because they haven't done anything to either do some form of networking or to really make their content stand out a little bit more, or simply because of the lack of discovery that's there on Twitch. But then you see all these other people who have like a good average, but then take a look at the background. What is it that they have? Well, for some of those people, they are very good at the game. So those people, they don't have to be entertaining. They don't have, they just have to be good at the game. Other people are very informative, so they don't have to be super entertaining. People are there for the information. And then you have your people who are very entertaining, but also too, they have all these different things when you come into the chat, like they have all these interactions, maybe they have a VTuber model, and with their VTuber model, you can like throw stuff at them. Like they're in the middle of an important conversation, and then you just see like a penguin just hit them in the face. You know what I mean? Like,
I haven't seen that before.
Oh yeah. Like, so what you were talking about earlier is already there. Like people, especially with the VTuber models, oh my goodness, they have so many like cool tools, making their face like a ball, a giant ball that's on the screen, just, making them like turn around and spin or whatever, turning them upside down. Like, it's just so many things that interactions that you can do nowadays. That's really, really cool. And so then those people may draw in stuff. But then again, how much time are you able to put into it, right? You know, what category are you streaming in? Did you get in at the baseline of the game? There's so many statistics and things that you would have to look at to really make that work. And you think about somebody like Moist Critical, well, he made it work, but that was also basically his full-time job.
Yeah.
So he was streaming, you know, 8 to 12 hours a day. And then that's what he did, you know. So when the way I look at it, right, is that it's really hard to be super successful on Twitch without like probably the time investment.
Yeah.
Versus like YouTube, where you can invest just as much time and you could really get yourself like started, you know, with like a little miniature career from a YouTube standpoint once you have the right tools with the same, you know, investment. And then more discoverability and stuff like that. So I think it just really depends on the person. But I think that for me as a longtime streamer, the YouTube stuff is definitely, to me, it's a little bit more, it's longer lasting. You know, it's a little bit easier to do the YouTube stuff long term versus like the streaming stuff where you can, with streaming or YouTube, you know, you can ebb and flow. But I think it's more of an ebb and flow with like the live streaming.
There was one of your videos I watched. I'm sure it's your favorite YouTube video, but you've got the wig on and you're like throwing the hair everywhere.
Yeah.
I think it's only like 20 seconds or something. It may as well be a short, but I'm assuming that was from a Twitch stream, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Okay.
Yep, that was me just testing like the little Twitch upload thing where you can just upload it directly to YouTube, and I just put it over there. And so I just see people like I just see it just going up and up, and I'm just like, man, all these people just watch this. I was just like, it was, you know,
there
it was
you
just
go.
silly
That's
fun.
the best content.
Yeah, it was silly fun. Actually, what I did very recently is, so my channel trailer for a long time on Twitch was like me. It was like playing Destiny. And it was just this really funny moment, but it's more of an inside joke unless you really pay attention to what's going on and understand it. And I died. So we're playing 3v3 and we're at the section where we're on this bridge. So I died. And then me and the other guy are just talking about content creation. He's just like, you know, you really need to be cranking out like 8 to 10 or whatever. And you see my other friend, because both of us are dead. My other friend goes in and he's about to make the best game-winning play ever known to mankind right here, right now. So he goes in and it's like a Titan slam where he comes down with all this arc energy and just goes bam. Like that's the move. That's his ultimate. He uses ultimate. And he crashes and hit the boxes that are up above the enemies. When I tell you and you just hear me just bursting out into laughter, because I think this is one of the funniest things that has ever happened. Because this is normally what happens to me. I'm the type of person that does this. Yeah. And he is like a miles beyond better player than I am. You know what I mean? And he crashes into the boxes and we just flat out laugh so hard, bro, because it was so funny, man. So that was my channel trailer, but I was like, nobody would really like recognize it or really know what that is, because it's an inside joke, right? Unless I explain the story behind it, right? But now I just kind of switched it up, and so I made like a channel trailer that has like all these little small clips and stuff, right? And now it's like, you know, just a little thing where it's just funny, you know, it's just a bunch of little small funny clips. But see, like those are the type of things that you start like doing over time that I probably could have been done, right? But I never did it because I didn't feel like I needed to. But then now I'm just looking, I'm like, man, you know, people have all these like polished, like looking streams and all this other stuff. And I'm like, man, I got to step my game up on some of this stuff, you know?
Ooh, people are good now. Like Brandon, you know, JKG, I want to get him on here, man. He's so polished. His stuff looks so good. And I was telling him the other day, I'm like, you're 45 people away from being monetized. Like, I thought you had 10,000 subscribers or something, dude, to be at the level that you are for polish, right?
He's inspiring to me.
Yeah.
I'll tell you that.
His thumbnails, man, I'm just like,
yeah.
It's like, I don't even want to try.
But the thing is, though, is like, at the point when you want to like really do that stuff, you have resources around you. You know, you can ask me, you can ask Brandon, and then we can help you with that stuff. So like, it's the same thing even for me, right? Like if, let's say like I'm in the Hivemind with them and I start making a video, one of them will probably say something like, as I'm making the thumbnail, wait a minute, let's up this thumbnail, man. You got a little bit lacking. Let's tweak this thumbnail real quick. And now it's like, okay, I'm actually learning. I'm having a learning experience of like how to do a basic thumbnail. You know, even like with some of the thumbnails now, like one of the things that I need to do is I need to get still pictures of me, right? Where it's like just, you know, cut out and doing the expressions and build a library of those so that those are like what I can use for every video. So I can put me right here. I can put the words on one side or put the words in a certain section and then picture, you know, like just the basic principles of that, you know. And even the cool thing is like within the Godforge Discord, they even did a thumbnail day. Did you go to that?
No, I think that was probably predated me.
Gotcha. It might have been because it was kind of like in the middle of Alpha 2, I believe.
Okay.
Yeah, so they did like a thumbnail day and they just taught like a bunch of people and they pre-recorded it, so I think it's still in there.
Yeah, I need to go through the folder. I keep saying that I'm going to do it, but there's a lot of like you watch a bunch of videos, you ask a bunch of feedback, but then you got to like do it, right? So I've been just doing a lot in Photo P. And I'm slacking this week. I didn't get the podcast with Gecko out on time, so that's coming.
That's okay.
You'll be next week, but I changed the thumbnail the way that I do it for these next episodes because I did get a message from Susie. And she was like, hey, your thumbnails for the podcast, you should avoid putting a bunch of writing in the bottom right-hand corner. And I didn't really know why. I just thought it was like a best practice. But then I went through YouTube and I started looking at all my podcast thumbnails. And where I've got the content creator's name is the timestamp. So the timestamp at first glance is covering up the CC's name. And it's like, oh, crap. I didn't realize that. So little stuff, things, man. But she flagged it for me. So...
That's one of the things that is you know, again, that's part of what it is. Like all of us work together to help improve it. So the thing that you have done, which is super cool, is you never really done most of this stuff before. You're only just now starting to do it, but you did it. And then now you're starting to see. And that was kind of the same thing for me when it came to just doing content creation in general. I just did it. You know, I didn't know anything about it. Making the videos, I didn't know that much about it, you know. But as I started doing stuff, then I started figuring out, oh, this is what it means. Like what I was telling you, you know, before we started about the, like the last video that I did, which was, you know, one for another game, Chaos Zero Nightmare. And I put in a couple of sounds basically for each of the little MIDI transitions that were in there. So let's say like I was switching from a zoomed in screen to a smaller screen, like, that's just something that was like, I've seen this happen many times, but I didn't think about it. But how much more immersed does they get somebody into the video? You know what I mean? Because it's a little thing that just catches your attention because you hear the sound and it kind of like re-engages you with whatever content that's going on. Like little small stuff like that you'll just learn that stuff as you go on. So
yeah, I took a lesson from Sneaky. And Sneaky's a wizard if you hadn't gotten to like pick his brain yet, but he's got a philosophy of like doing as much as he possibly can in OBS during capture before he gets to DaVinci. And so he's got all this crazy layering stuff and zooms and flips and all this in OBS when he switches like cameras on the fly. So he's almost like DJing himself live recorded, and then it minimizes what he has to do in DaVinci.
Nice.
So, but he's been doing it for other people for like 5 or 6 years. So, you know, he comes in with the technical knowledge, right?
So you're saying we can go to him to edit our videos for us?
Yeah, see, these days, I would love to know what he charges, right? He edited Scratch's videos for the longest time. So
really? I love Scratch's videos, so that's pretty cool. That's pretty cool, man. That's super cool.
Is that how you found out about Godforge, was RSL?
Yep, through Raid Shadow Legends. So I actually had an IRL friend that told me about Raid Shadow Legends early on, and he hopped in and he was just enjoying the crap out of it for the first couple months. I said, I'm not going to try it, you know, it's whatever. And probably like 6 to 9 months later, one of the streamers that I was like with, so I was on Mixer before it shut down, and one of the streamers got a sponsorship for it, and then that was when I tried it. And then when I tried it, I just fell in love with it at the time. I was just like, dude, this is so cool. I can kind of like just push through. And then I just kept like searching for videos. So of course, Hell Hades came up. And then later I saw, of course, Scratch later on. I'm trying to think, Chosen's videos came up. and who were we talking about earlier? Ash. Yeah. Ash, like all his videos came up, and I was just like, man, I love Hell Hades because he brings in like good energy and this information. He has some funny stuff. I love Scratches because it's I love his expressions. I love his he has a keep it real mentality, and I just love seeing it. You know what I mean? It's like, it's just Scratch. Like at the end of the day, like I love his videos. And then for Ash, it was like, wow, like this dude is just so highly energetic, and he is so fun, and I love his edits. Oh my goodness, it's so good.
There's another reality where he's just a motivational speaker.
Really?
Like in an alternate universe, he's like a corporate, like walks in the room and gets everybody pumped.
Oh my goodness, I can just see it right now. It's like, you guys, you can do better. You can do this. You can do it. Yeah. That is very funny. And then like
go sell 1,000 widgets.
Hey, and they will do it. They will do it after that motivation. Yeah, they'll do it.
But Deadwood, man, I hope I see Deadwood in the Godforge community, because there's a few of the creators I haven't seen, even lurking. I know J-Gigs isn't going to play it, at least right now. He's not going to play it because I'm real involved in that community. But I think maybe a lot of people, when they get off the Raid Shadow Legends train, it's kind of like, let me move into Gacha remission. I don't even want to mess with Gachas anymore.
Well, it's I can say, like, for myself, it's been like, I really enjoy Gachas. And the baseline, the whole baseline of why I got into Raid Shadow Legends, right? I was playing, I played Clash of Clans. Okay. So I absolutely loved Clash of Clans at the time, and then I got out of Clash of Clans and I started playing a game called Grand Chase, more or less like the global release. Yeah, it's kind of like this top-down RPG, like, sandbox stage clear. So you just have like this little small stage, and then you like clear the enemies, you clear the bosses. I think actually the stages were closer to something. Did you ever play Summoner's Glory or no? Okay. Well, it's kind of like a stage where you just go through and you clear like everything. You have enemies at certain points, so it's like a little sandbox environment, and then you just move all throughout it and clear everything. And then your boss stages. Oh my goodness, I remember the first time like going against some of those bosses and getting absolutely deleted.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness. So that was like my first experience of like a good boss, where it's like, oh no, I'm good. I beat the boss. There's a second phase? No. Yeah.
Mechanics? What is mechanics?
So it's real cool, but that all that kind of led into like from Grand Chase I went into Raid, right? And I was just looking for something that I could play that gave me that constant sense of progression, that had some type of excitement to it, which the gacha portion was exciting, but also just playing the game and progressing and getting better gear and stuff was like super exciting. And I saw these people all excited about it, and I'm like, you know what? I can't really play Destiny at work, so I wanted something on the side that I could play, and that was Raid.
Gotcha, yeah. No, Raid, I mean, everybody loves to crap on Raid. I love to crap on Raid, but like, it is a good game. It's a reason it's on top. I think if they just hadn't been so dang predatory and their prices hadn't been so high, and they had actually implemented some of the quality of life stuff faster, it would be a completely different conversation. But like, it's one reason I love J-Gig's channel, because it's almost like venting. It was like, we all have this shared experience of being abused by the person who creates the game that we love. And we can come in here and he's just going to say it unfiltered in a very funny way.
I know, that's been so good. The Plarium calls are so good.
Yeah. Oh man, I told him Wait Shadow Legends is one of the best YouTube videos that's ever been made. I was like, dude,
that one was good.
Just all the Mr. Beast stuff, Gangnam Style, I don't care. Take it all. Like, Wait Shadow Legends, when it came out, what it was for the people who knew what it was. The editing's so tight, like it's primo.
Which made me laugh, because I was thinking about even like for all of us, where we thought our next Raid Shadow Legends at the time was going to be Summoner's Glory, and we had a meme that was called Soon. And it's because we were getting like all these promises of all these changes and things that would come out, and we were supposed to get like this big update. and it never happened.
Oh no.
And it was like a year and a half later when they finally like started doing some changes, and it wasn't even all of it, but like everybody been left and jumped ship at that point in time. It's like that whole thing became a meme, you know, because it was like soon, and then it's like soon is never. And they're like, well, we're closing the game down in the next couple of months, and we're just like, soon. Maybe.
Well, with Destiny, do you still play Destiny or Destiny 2 at all?
I play it a little bit. One of the big things for me, and this is like a completely other, different type of topic, but one that resonates with a lot of people is, you know, burnout, right?
Yeah.
I did get burnout. No matter the game, you eventually will probably get burnt out. If you play it at a considerable amount of time, you're eventually going to get burnt out, because games are meant to be temporary at the end of the day. You know, for me, what I did early on is within Destiny 2 in particular, to avoid the burnout and to be less burnout. That was also, and that's why it's like, you know, Raid has a special place for me in my heart, right? Mm-hmm. That was that transition for me where I didn't want to sit down and play the game like 24/7 like I was doing. Because at the time, what I was doing was I was getting home from work, going in and playing Destiny, doing PvP, helping people with raids. Like at one point in time, if I turned on my PlayStation, within 30 minutes, I'm going somewhere to help somebody with a raid. So I started going offline on my PlayStation, so I would not get those invites like that quick. If I hopped in the stream, sometimes like within 30 minutes to an hour, somebody needs help with the raid. So I'm like going in and hopping in and helping them with raids and stuff like that. And I've met some incredibly, you know, like from a community standpoint, just really helpful and powerful people. But yeah, I took what a lot of people are like only just now doing or started doing over the past year or so, where I just started playing it when I wanted to. And that was it. You know, instead of playing it every day, all day, and then just end up hating the game and spewing all this negativity and stuff, I just took the road where I was like, you know what, I'll just play it when I want to play it. And for people, it's so weird when they hear me say that I still enjoy the game. You know, now with a lot of the change and stuff that they did as of recent, it was a tough pill to swallow, because when you hear something called major update, you're thinking it's a major update. And I'll keep the rant to like 15 seconds or less. I know this is going to be a task. I log into game. I do mission at tower. Make no sense. I go in and I do mission. Very confusing. Large area. A throwback area that they just took all the personality out of it and then just had you do like this long mission. And that was an hour later, and I logged out the game because that was the major update. And I'm just like, huh? So, you know, besides that though, but basically I've taken a step back, and also they have the mobile game now, which I think is way more fun than a major game.
Oh, I haven't even seen that. Interesting. Is it a FPS? Okay. I played Destiny, the original Destiny, second expansion or something like that. I'm trying to think.
Mm-hmm. Dark Below. It
was Oryx. Was that one of the bosses?
Oh, that's the big one. So that was the really big one. That was the Dreadnought expansion. So that was
Dreadnought.
That was when the Cabal ship crashed into the Dreadnought and all that stuff or whatever. So that was Taken King.
Yeah. So what I remember was I wasn't a Destiny player, but I was interested in the game, and I was not necessarily great at first-person shooters. But I liked the concept of role-based dungeon running, right? So I'd played a lot of MMOs and whatnot. So I jumped into Destiny with a friend of mine. Over the course of time, somehow we got plugged into like a small group that was capable of doing the raids. And what I remember about it is that in a 40-man raid in World of Warcraft, three or four people can suck. You know what I mean? Like 10% of the group can suck, and you can carry them, right? In Destiny, there is zero room for failure for anybody. So you got like whatever it is, 6, 7, 8 people, 5 people. I don't remember what it is.
6
You
people.
miss a platform jump, and now everybody's waiting on you, and now everybody's standing there. And so me and my buddy,
Dark Priest.
we're the noobs in this group who is got basically everything on farm, and we're just like, please give us some forgiveness. I don't know what I'm doing. But we did. We got through all the raids. We did the last boss
awesome.
once or twice. I got to have that experience, all because of whoever those people were. I wish I could remember their
Yeah.
names. You know, thank you
Still
to them.
awesome though.
But it was really fun. It was a fun experience, and it blows my mind that the game is still going today with more content. It's like Final Fantasy 14 at this point. Like it just won't die. It keeps going and going and going.
It's close to dying right now, though. It's they got
Is it?
they oh it is at its worst ever. So at its for Destiny 2 at its worst. These past couple of weeks, they actually reached lower than that. As far as like the amount of people that were logged in playing the game. So I mean, they're at a really rough spot, and they're gonna have to. The thing is that with Destiny, the part that's really heartbreaking, that sucks about it, is they've had some of the finest people come through their company, Bungie as a whole. They had some of the finest people, just incredible voice actors, incredible talent from the art teams and everything. But because it had been, for lack of a better explanation, it's been mismanaged. Like, for example, with the original Destiny, the original writer that wrote up their story, fantastic. He had it as a much darker game. So Taken King was supposed to happen from like the beginning of the game. That was supposed to be, and that was the type of darkness that they were like looking for in the game. But they were told to scrap all that. And so within like 3 months, they had to basically like redo so many points of the game and come out with a whole new different expansion and stuff. But then over time, they've basically gone into the archives and kind of dug in a lot of that information out and have built a base off of like, and this is a little bit of what I know, like all of it can't be, this is just my words for the most part. And from what I've seen as a player, so it's not, it may not be 100% factual on every single piece, but they've like gone back and now they're making that, they've made that darker, style game that was what was going to be originally, so it's just, I'm hoping for the best of the game. But the weird thing is that when the mobile game came out, the mobile game put in a lot of the changes that was being asked for in the main game.
In the main game, yeah.
They just dropped it in features and stuff that were just like, here you go.
Yeah, you talk about like you said it earlier, games don't last forever. I feel like that's a recent phenomena in terms of like acceptance, if that makes sense, because there's been some content creators that I've heard where they say like and you wouldn't have heard this from them 3-4 years ago, the game has no permanency, right? Or I don't want it to become my job, and I used to care about getting the bizarre loot or whatever, right? And like now I realize that because there's no permanency, that all that's pointless. And I think to some extent, as we all went through it, we all realized, spending a bunch of time for something digital doesn't make any sense because it's not going to last forever. But also, if you think about vanilla or the first 2 expansions of World of Warcraft, it's still in the back of your mind. You're like, well, they keep developing the game, so I might be here and somebody might care. No, nobody cares. Like it's all going to get wiped and you'll move on to a new game.
I mean, it's true. And then like, I've come to graces with it. It's like, I'll have like these memorable experiences that I develop in these games, kind of like similar to the memorable experiences that you develop going to a theme park or going to a movie, going to a fair, whatever the case may be. Some people, they develop experiences by going out and experiencing the nightlife. And some people, they'll spend a ton of money on like drinks or whatever the case may be. Well, me, I'm just like, my parents really taught me something really cool. They took me on a cruise, me and my brother, when we were younger. And then I saw these bottles, I saw these bottles and I was just like, yo, and he was like, hey, look up the price of that bottle. So I look it up. Johnny Walker, Blue Label. Look it up. $200 to $300. Who's that? They're like, yeah, we paid like $75 for that. So it's like, but it was like a life lesson where it's like they went on a cruise, and then at the location, you know, that particular island, they sell all that stuff, and it's at like 50% less, you know, because it doesn't have to go through all the customs and everything else, right? So it's just sell that the baseline like price and stuff like that. And so I was just like, wow, so, you know, I can have a very enjoyable drink at home over a longer period of time for like 6 months to a year versus like paying for like 3 shots of the same thing. And I was like, oh, okay. But then, you know, like I say that to say like, you know, every experience is different, right? And you'll find kind of like those different things that you enjoy. And even in the gaming space, you know, you'll find that, you know, those gems of like time, those gems of like, oh, you know, I figured out like this particular portion that I really, really enjoy. And like, just like you talking about WoW. Now, I don't have a whole lot of experience at WoW, but the time that I played WoW was an enjoyable experience. You know what I mean? Like, I'm just like memeing like everything that's going on, and I'm going through like the city with the lizards for the first time, and I'm like, yeah, I'm gonna take the king's daughter. You know, I'm like, I'm just doing stupid stuff. You know? Like, so it's kind of cool that you mentioned that experience and just kind of like that tie-in. I guess for you, like, I want to hear like a little bit about your, you know, kind of like gaming experience and stuff, because I hear you talk about WoW, but
I've been playing games since Super Mario came out on Nintendo, right? That's probably, I didn't have an Atari. I'm not quite that old, but I had a Nintendo Entertainment System. But my favorite games growing up were all the Final Fantasies. So OG Final Fantasy on Nintendo, and then what we call Final Fantasy II on Super Nintendo, which was actually Final Fantasy IV. That's still my favorite game of all time. I think that's kind of a watershed moment in my life where I saw how storytelling can happen in a video game. Maybe for most Americans who played it, that's that moment where they realized that you could tell a story. So those characters remain with me to today, like Cecil and Kane and Rosa and Terra. Like, they're all, even to me, more rich characters than Final Fantasy III, which is what I think most people would say their favorite was until 7, right? Which remains kind of the top of the list for just about everybody.
Love 7.
But I did that, right? And I played every Final Fantasy that ever came out, and then over the way dabbled in other stuff, got into MMOs. I knew when I got into my first MMO, which was Dark Age of Camelot, I knew that I was making a bad decision. I knew some people that had played EverQuest and just became shut-ins, you know? Oh,
gosh, the EverQuest WoW thing.
Yeah.
That's so cool.
I played Camelot, but one fun one, I'll tell you real quick, a fun story. You talk about like memories from games, and stuff gets seared into your brain, you know? There's an old MMO that very few people have heard of called Shadowbane. And when Shadowbane came out, it was, if we looked at it now, like if it came out now, it would just be the most toxic, hardcore nonsense that existed, right? The whole point of it was there's no story, there's no lore. There's like mythological lore, but there's nothing in the game. Here's everything that we have. Now the players go create whatever exists. So there's really no populated cities. There's very few NPCs, and everything was full loot PvP enabled from the very beginning. So the whole world was essentially like Rust. It's like factions, but, you know, with 10,000 people instead of 100 people, right? And the group that I joined decided to pick a race called the I think it was called the Irakai or something like that. And the lore behind them, the guy who wrote all of the mythology, was that they were xenophobic and they didn't trust anybody else and they didn't like anybody else. So they were really only supposed to like be with their own race. And they're from the desert, so they lived out in the desert, and there's other biomes and whatnot. So we had this group, everybody was the same race. We built a giant castle, and because we were xenophobic, we were technically like the bad guys. So we were supposed to be the ones causing the problems with the other groups of people. And they had game masters, so they had employees from the company that would log into the game and just try to go around and start shit. That's what they did. Like,
That's so great.
and they were trying to like
Great
cause
job.
drama and get stuff. And these dudes came and tried to like tear our castle down. And it had not like Minecraft building, but it had the concept of building. So like they did damage, like they broke walls and stuff, and we fought them off. And I remember going out, I played like a assassin type class. So I went out and I stayed in sneak and just went invisible over to their spot. And I spawn camped where I thought the guild leader would log in. And I sat there for like 6 hours and just waited for this dude to log in. And he logged in, and I backstabbed him. And I fought like the guild leader, and I killed him in some short amount of time. And I took everything off his body, which included like a key to their guild safe. And I looted their guild safe, and I stole all their stuff. And so then, this is before voice chat, right? It's all typing, and there's no type filters. There's no like limit. So he's just adding me, right? He's like, hey, dude, can I have our stuff back? And I'm like, no.
That's so great.
I was
That's
like,
what you did.
You tried to kill us. You destroyed our castle. I waited for you. I got you. I got your stuff. No. And so then, like,
great.
they created some giant alliance and came out and tore down our entire castle. And then, like, the game doesn't really exist anymore. But that's seared into my brain, that memory, right? And if you like pull up videos of it, the graphics are terrible, you know. But in your mind, it's so like vivid. Everything that happened.
So cool. That is super duper cool, man. And see, we like that's what we live for. We live for those type of experiences, you know.
Yeah. And
It's
Alpha
super
3 is one of those experiences, right? And I hope that Godforge can. They don't have to do that all the time, right? They don't have to live in Alpha 3, but they need to capture that magic on some sort of periodic basis.
And I'm hoping that they do it. I think that they can. They have a good baseline for it. It's going to take a lot of work, but I think they'll be able to do it.
Well, we talked a lot, and we didn't even get to the other two topics, but I do want to just touch on them real quick. Tell me about what music has been like in your life, and how it has or hasn't been important to you.
So I'd say probably the music that really resonated with me early on was kind of like R&B, right? And then a little bit of rock and roll early on, but I never really dug deep into rock. I'd say probably like pop has always been a good portion with me. And I'd have to say some of like the early rock. So you're thinking about like the Maroon 5s, the Iris with the Goo Goo Dolls, and some of the groups like that. But I also had like a stint with like hip hop. But I'd say like over the past, like 10 plus years, the biggest thing has been EDM for me.
Interesting.
It's been EDM. Even when I was younger, you know, like the Rhythmics, you know, it's a famous, well-known group. Like even that has like an EDM-ish feel to me, you know?
Yeah.
And I don't know, like stuff like that kind of like stuck with me. So like now a lot of the playlists and stuff that I have, it's a mix of kind of like R&B-ish, but more like EDM, chill hop, you know, vaporwave. So what Spotify messed me up with this, right? So once I like caught on to Spotify's feature where you can listen to a song and then it'll skip over and just start creating a playlist for you based off of the song. And like I found these songs like on Twitch that people had, you know, like Equagan and a couple other streamers and stuff. And I'm like, man, they have all these cool songs. And I listened to a song and then I just start like seeing all these different songs and just listen to it. And then at the end of the year, Spotify was like, vaporwave, that's your favorite type of music. I'm like,
oh, it kind of called it out for you.
Yeah. And I'm like, what the heck is vaporwave? You know what I mean? And I still like, I kind of understand it now, but it's just like, you know, kind of like this chillish music, but it's like always over, you know, a beat with like some type of like melody a lot of times is what I like. But like, I like groups like Bass Nectar and stuff. And the reason why like that sticks with me is because I feel like it's just something I can share with anybody. And I've always loved like beats. That's always been something that I've always loved. And I've always loved like great vocals. So EDM a lot of times with the type of EDM that I like with like the chill hop, the vaporwaves, that type of stuff, it is literally a fusion of both of those things most of the time. So you have these people who have really good vocals and then they fuse in with like all these like really cool, you know, beats, whether it's like instruments or, you know, electronic stuff. It's like, it makes my brain happy.
Nice. I listen to some electronic music. I don't listen to a ton. I don't know that I would have ever even used EDM as like a classification or a genre, but there's some of that I really, really love. I can't even put a name to any of it. I'm thinking of like Wave Shaper, but I'm wondering if Wave Shaper is a specific style of music. Let me see.
About to find something new for me, man, because that's something I don't think I've really heard of. It's like Wave Shaper.
It just says dance electronic. I think to me that style that Wave Shaper is like synth wave. There you go. That's the
that's a big one for me too.
Yeah, where they a lot of people got into just specifically using synths. And you get like The Weeknd and like Roosevelt and stuff that's come out in the last 10, 15 years. I like a lot of that. And especially if I'm like working, I put stuff like that on in the background.
Same.
Yeah.
Like I have like this, so I'll go over like some of the songs in like one of the playlists that I have here real quick. Which one is this? Okay. I like got multiple like monitors in front of me. So like people like Wild Sun, I have like, and I always end up picking like different songs. And then I build a playlist of those songs. So like East Coast, Elena Baraz, May, Atlas, Spring Game. There was one game that was called Dislight, and it had like a specific song on it that I really liked because they had that type of music. And then it kind of goes a little bit into some of the like the K-pops and stuff like that. Okay. But like it's just all these different like random like artists and stuff like that. And for me, the cool thing is like when I find other people that like that music, I almost always end up discovering something new. Yeah. Because I don't necessarily know all the mainstream artists. I just know whatever Spotify has kind of thrown at me, and I build a playlist off of that, or whatever I hear from other people, so I think that's always really cool.
It's been such an interesting tool to learn about, not only contemporary music, but like old music. I've learned about so many old bands I never had heard of when I was growing up, just because of like Spotify and what's the other? I guess Apple Music, but Amazon Music, YouTube.
YouTube Music is really good too. Yeah. I've had like growing up, I've had Amazon, and then they kind of came out with their own Amazon Music, which I kind of used a little bit. But YouTube Music was what I was using for a very long time. And then also too, when Spotify came out, like it really just resonated with me. So YouTube Music and Spotify were kind of like the big things. And I guess like Google Music was what it was at the time. They kind of created like their own thing, and I had a little bit of experience with iTunes just, from whatever. But yeah, I mean, those were like the big things. And then like when you got into like YouTube and you started finding like these solo artists and just like these really just people who you may look at and be like, man, they're better than the mainstream artists, because it's just like, that was like really cool. It's like a little bit of discovery. And I feel like that you have years upon years upon years of just music that's out there that, you could discover at any point in time. And you can discover it from anyone. You could discover it from a little kid that, you're tutoring or something like that, or a kid that one of your friends' kids that's watching, you just happen to hear the music. You could discover it from a stream. You could discover it from a TV show. The conversation that we're having right now, I could discover music through you. You could discover music through me. You could be walking in the store. So like a perfect example, I was walking in a store in, I can't remember if it was Atlanta or Chicago. We were in Chicago, so we went to one of the big malls in Chicago. And it's one where that particular day, it was a lot of Asian and Oriental people that were there, just all over the hallways. And it was just this cool experience just to see like all these different people that, aren't the same culture as I am. And a song came on, and it's called David's House by an artist named Nia. And like I used my Shazam, like on the spot or whichever one I had at the time, and I, discovered the song, and then I took that back with me from Chicago, and then now this is like one of the artists where I have like several songs that I just absolutely love from it. You never know when you discover something cool,
Yeah. There's a game that came out, I don't know, like 7-8 years ago called Let It Die. Did you ever hear about that game?
I think I heard about it.
It's a weird game. I don't even know what genre it is, but you have to climb a tower, right? And then it's kind of roguelike. So you're going to die at some point and restart. But Let It Die in Japan, what the developer did was went out to all these local Japanese bands and said, like, submit one song. I just need like one song from everybody. And he got all these different genres from like punk to metal to electronic to, pop, and all submitted by just like relatively unknown Japanese bands. And he made like 100-song radio station out of it. And every song had to be called Let It Die. So the artists all named the submissions Let It Die. And I discovered like 20 bands because of that video game. And then learned all about like the Japanese music scene at whatever time that was, like 2015 or something like that. It was wild.
Yeah. That is so cool that you had that experience. It's literally just what I said, where you just never know when you're gonna discover. Yeah. I've discovered so much music because of Twitch. Like so much music. Like I have these playlists that are built out that they have a basis of maybe a song that I heard from somebody on Twitch. And then I just slowly but surely just add in these songs and build playlists off of it.
Can you play whatever you want on a live stream, like without copyright concerns?
Yes and no. I can teach you how to do it later.
Oh, okay. I thought you were about to get into some crazy, like,
no.
legal way.
No. So basically, like, regardless of wherever, when you're live streaming, there's always the chance for you to get a copyright strike live, right? But what you can do is you can set it to where on Twitch, you download kind of like the little Twitch thing, I believe, if I remember correctly. And it's your VOD tracks. So you put everything on one track and you separate your audio to where all the audio goes through the stream, but the only thing that doesn't get recorded is the music.
Oh, I see. So it plays live, but then if you were to export it to YouTube or something, it's not on there.
It's not on there whatsoever.
Interesting. Okay.
Mm-hmm. And I was thinking about like playing with something else later. I did it for like a short while where I had like a non whatever music like going on in the background, like non-copyright music going on in the background. And then, it would like play there, but then you'd have the other music. Like I was trying to figure it out, and I was just like, it's whatever. I'll just leave it as is.
Well, we got one more topic, and then I think we'll probably wrap it up for the day. Easy to go long with Tez here. But we briefly talked about culture before we got started, and you mentioned something about barbecue. And I was like, okay, barbecue is a culture. I want to hear the justification for this.
So the way I look at it is like one of the things that draws you to a culture is food. And so each different location will have a certain type of food. So like if you go to, let's say like an African restaurant, it has a certain culture that comes along with the food. So like, for example, one of the places down the street, they have food from Yemen. I mean, I didn't even know where Yemen was on the map. And then I found it and I'm just like, wow. So these are like the dishes that you would find from there. And they, they make those dishes. So it's like, okay, now I get a flavor of like, what it is. And so in a sense, it's a piece of the culture. So that's why I mentioned like barbecue in particular, which is like, some people are like, yeah, what do you mean by barbecue? But here in the States, you have your different like places where certain barbecue is said to be in a certain space. So like if you want a mustard, I think it's mustard based.
Now I know what you're getting
South Carolina, you know what I mean? If you want that good Texas barbecue, go to Texas. If you want that good Southern flavor, you come down, into the South. And in one of the places they have like a sweet and spicy, and that's where I'm from. It's a sweet and spicy style barbecue from the place where I'm from. But then people will ask you, because when you're being introduced into a culture, a lot of times you will ask somebody, well, what's the food? Tell me like some of the foods from your area or whatever. That's just a normal conversation that we as humans have. So if somebody comes to where I live and they ask me, where's the best barbecue? My answer will be, it's in people's backyards.
Yeah. A universally true answer.
It is a universally true answer. And you find out, like, you know, because you think about like the mom and pop shops and stuff, you know, that's just basically a glorified backyard in a sense, you know. It's these group of people or a family that gets together and they make like these traditional meals or whatever the case may be. And then it's just, oh my goodness, like I've discovered like a great place. I'm sure you got some places like that, you know, where it's just only at your location, you know?
Yeah, you know, I don't know what our regional food is, honestly. So I grew up in the South, and then I moved ultimately westward until I ended up in the Pacific Northwest. So in the Pacific Northwest, you know, I feel like people, when they think about what do they do uniquely, it's like coffee shacks, 100,000 of them within like a quarter square mile. There's just coffee shacks everywhere.
That's cool though.
But you don't really think of like, you know, certainly not barbecue up here, but there's a barbecue restaurant not too far from me, and it's not the best. But what blew my mind was they have hush puppies, and like nobody else has hush puppies up here. Wow. And their hush puppies are like really good hush puppies too. Like they would compete from where I came from, and they serve them with honey butter. And so I'm just sitting there like rubbing hush puppies and honey butter. I don't even care about the meat at this place, right? I just get an order like a full basket of hush puppies.
Yeah, dude, that's incredible. But you know, that's something that's super weird, right? Like what you just mentioned is that you will find like these places that it's like, okay, this is not necessarily like what you would consider the food that they would have there. But then it's just flat out delicious. So like, for example, across the street from where I live, there's this mom and pop shop. So now they have 2 locations here. And it literally just looks like a little house at one location. The other place looks like a full restaurant because they modernized it. But this place is literally like a little house, you know, that looks like it's just got like this open area. And then you open it and you walk in and it's like a door over here. And then there's the full kitchen in the back and stuff. Like it literally just looks like a house that's sitting in a Lowe's parking lot.
There you go. It's a coffee shop.
Exactly. It's like a little coffee shop basically. But even though like they're pretty known for like the barbecue that they have there. So like their ribs are super amazing. Their wings are super amazing. They're also well known for like their sandwiches. You know, so they have like the kind of like the barbecue sandwich. They have one that's called the Redhead Stepchild that I absolutely love. So it's like they have like the pulled pork barbecue. They got brisket on it. And then they have like smoked sausage, like all on this sandwich with coleslaw, just barbecue sauce. It is just, you can have one every like 3 or 4 months. Like
so rich.
It is very rich. It is very, very rich. But again, also too, like they have like these steel cut trout tacos and like they make pizza. Like they just have like all this stuff and like everything is good from there. But like a baseline is like a lot of people will go there for like the barbecue or they'll go there for like the burgers, you know, but people
That's
also
a dangerous place to have across the street from your house.
I'm going to tell you one little super quick story about it. They have a burrito, and it's like a brisket breakfast burrito. So I got it the first time, and it was, you know, this big, right? I ordered it the second time, and I said no potatoes. It was still this big.
Oh, wow.
It was like they took out the potatoes and put in more meat, and I'm like, and I did it like 2 or 3 times more. And I'm just like, dude, like, why is this thing still so huge? Like, if I ask for no potatoes, I expect to receive less. No, dude, it is filled to the brim. And I was like, okay, I ordered this on occasion as many times as possible. It was really cool experience.
I guess where should people be checking you out? Obviously Twitch and YouTube, but do you have a streaming schedule set up right now?
I do not necessarily have a streaming schedule, just because it's sporadic. You know, I could be like called to go do something at some point, or so life is like pretty busy. And I try to make myself available for, you know, whatever goes on IRL. But most times you can typically find me. Basically, as of now, I will still be doing a lot more YouTube, more than live streaming. But if you find me, most of the time, especially if you join my Discord, I try to at least 30 minutes to an hour before I go live. I try to like put in a message in Discord and say, hey, you know, I'll be live at this time. So the main thing is like if you join in on my Discord, which you can find on my YouTube channel. You can find on my Twitch channel, Papa_Tez for Twitch, and then Papa Tez Gacha and more for YouTube. You'll be able to find like my YouTube and stuff because I have the stuff linked there. Or you'll find my Discord there. So if you join in on my Discord, you'll be able to see like when I go live. But yeah, that's pretty much it.
I forgot to ask you about the name. Where'd Papa Tez come from?
Papa Tez was a joke. Papa Tez was a joke. So at least early on in Twitch, the Papa and mommy phase or whatever just went on. Or the daddy and mommy phase went on, and it is like, slightly embarrassing to say, but it's like this phase was going on where people just started calling everybody mommy and whatever. Sure. And so me and one of my other friends, he's also one of my IRL friends, we said, you know what, we're gonna do something that allows us. So since he's Hispanic and I'm American, we were like, why don't we do Papa and Papi, as a joke. So his name online was Tesla's Minion. So he did Papi Tez. So TES. Okay. And I did Papa_Tez. So the whole point of it was for us to just do it as a joke and to confuse as many people as possible. 3 years later, we get to TwitchCon, and one of my friends, poor Scarlett, she was confused even when she saw both of us in person. She could not figure out who was who. And at that point, we knew that we were super successful because we managed to confuse somebody for 3 years that knew both of us, has heard both of us, and she still couldn't get it. Oh man, it was great.
That's it started as a joke. Term. Yeah.
So
payoff.
It is. It's a good long-term payoff. But the other side of it is kind of like, a lot of times I was kind of like the middle range to older person within like the Twitch communities that I was in. And so I was almost looked at like people would call me, dad and stuff like that, from time to time. So I'm like, man, I got all like these Twitch kids. And also too, like in real life, like my friends, they had like, I was a young adult that was kind of like the person who has all the game systems and, stuff like that, that's into that stuff. So they dropped their teenage to, older kids, that are like 18, 19 and stuff. They drop them all off at my house. So I just always had like 2 to 4, like, young adults in my house at any time, like for like just a couple of years. Like they just called me up, and one of them, his kid, his kid at the time was like 15, 16 or whatever. So he just called me up. Hey man, what you doing this weekend? Yo, Kylan wanted to come over. Can he spend the weekend with you? I'm like, sure.
I could come hang out with you.
It's like every 2 weeks. So I'm just like, I always have like just had like that. So it's like all of them, I've seen them grow up and they're like my kids, The Kylan,
cool though.
Kylan paid off, right? So one day we were out and about. I'll make this super quick. We were out and about. And, I hadn't seen Colin in like a couple of years or whatever. And then he was just like, hey, what's going on, man? I was like, yo, what's up, dude? He's like, he's super like loud and just like everybody. So I'm toning him down a whole lot. Like he's like tall and loud and just like, but he's, super cool. So we were leaving from like a convention. And then as I was leaving, they turned around. He was like, dude, where you going? I was like, oh, well, just going to get my car. He said, come on, you come ride with me. And I was just like, had a little tear in my eye because I'm just like, I watched him grow up and now he's driving me. I taught him so well. So he was like, all the times that you took a ride for me that you drove halfway across the time, no, you ride with me. So like I rode with him to the restaurant and stuff, but it was just a little cool story. So that's kind of like the other side of the name.
And then like 3 minutes in, he's GTA and all over the place. And you're like, no, I taught you terribly.
I'm fine, man. I'm back there. It's like, look, I don't have to drive. It's fine. Wherever I go. Man. Good stories. Good times.
Just to close the loop, because I did look it up, by the way, the comedian that I couldn't remember who is a is, carbon stamped, whatever, my stamp of approval, terrible Twitch streamer, Dane Cook. Not David.
Dane Cook. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
So much potential to be an incredible streamer. And he's like, people are going to pay me to play Call of Duty.
Hey, man, try it, bro. Let me know. You never know. They might love the mustache and the hair and just be like, you know what? We're here for that.
Oh, yeah. That's what I'll do. I'll stream one night and I just won't say a freaking word. I'll put on some sunglasses, start the camera up, crank up Mega Bonk, not even allow people to give me tips in the chat. Just be like,
oh, man. I am here for it.
It's like new styles of art get formed or whatever, it'll be like Salvador Dali, like doesn't make any sense, like, oh, this new trend in streaming is just to freaking stonewall the audience.
Everybody will love it, just do it.
Yeah, just do it. If enough of us do it, I'll be called Papa
Papa Ned.
Papa Ned, and he'll be called Happy Ned. And then we'll show up somewhere. People can't tell us apart.
Oh my goodness. This has been a great laugh. I can tell you that. Oh man. I have to go get some CPR or something after this. Oh man.
Well, cool, man. Well, thanks a bunch for joining. He's been Papa Tez. I've been Ned Crash. Peace.
See ya.